So I would like to introduce myself. It's an honor, it's a pleasure for me to be here. 2 years ago, you wouldn't expect to have someone from a company called PTC here in that community. I think it's great to see the tech line. I've seen the tech line over there. It's about Smart Connect, the fascination of IoT. That's your tech line for this year. I'm from PTC. Our tech line is the product development company. PTC has been grown up 30 years ago, developing enterprise solution for developing products. And I will talk a little bit about the journey we made. But at the end, it's not about developing products anymore, it's about developing things. And I think this is the kind of qualifier for us within that industry. My name is Markus Hannen. I studied mechanical engineering already 20 years ago. I started to think that I would go to manufacturing process engineering. This is the way where I started. I never thought that I will end up in the IT industry. But this happens already after 3 years when I was building here in Düsseldorf, Krefeld high-speed trains, where I built up a process chain for developing and manufacturing high-speed trains. So 20 years ago, I always was a little bit depressed during all these years because I was never developing products anymore. It's just software. Therefore, I'm also committed and like the fascination of IoT, in particular for myself, because now the hardware is coming back to myself. Yeah. So again, iCenter, you were a little bit struggling. What is the iCenter? The iCenter is the business development and pre-sales department within PTC. Good. Let me go to the next slide. I see you have skipped one slide. Doesn't matter. I don't know who, but there was an introduction slide to PTC. I think this makes sense because, as I mentioned, we started to help companies developing things. And we grow up not only in developing, creating things, we enhanced in managing complexity. 2 years ago, we were completely confused when our CEO bought the platform ThingWorks. We didn't have any idea what's behind the platform, but in order to accelerate, and I don't have the slide anymore, I think that makes sense because now we are closing a kind of loop. So let me jump into my journey for this presentation. What we see in particular, independent from connectivity, we see a completely paradigm shift in the way people are developing products. If we look how companies are developing products today, it's more or less that people are working in different streams based on individual contributors from different systems, electronic, software, and they have some specific synchronization points where they have the synthesis to a final product pretty at the end of the life cycle. And this is where we see the shift in that kind of paradigm change, that the synthesis to the product is completely merged to the beginning of developing a product, so that we see the way how people are developing products right now, more or less to a kind of knowledge-based product configuration where everybody is working interdisciplinary, working together with other. One of the major challenges we had within the development of that particular car was that we had the idea of integrating partners on an eye level. Yeah? So from the very first phase, we have integrated partners in the way that we can use the full innovation potential of every single supplier. If we look to the traditional approach, how products are developing, companies are developing their spec and handing over the spec to a supplier, and the supplier is figuring out how to ensure that this fits to their needs and is in time and in cost available. They made it vice versa. They said, I don't know really how you develop, for example, this particular braking system. You know better than I do. Develop it, and we figure out how we can integrate it in the context of a full vehicle. And I think this is something which is pretty important. As I mentioned earlier, also in IoT, there is no project anymore where one company is leading a project and developing everything. If the companies do not learn to integrate partners on eye level from different disciplines, you will never get the results you need in order to get what you want. So the next process was modularization in terms of personalization. So the idea was to develop a product which fits the different needs. As I mentioned earlier in the paradigm change, everything is changing very soon, and you have to be able to come to the situation that you fulfill current demands in the market. Therefore, it was necessary in order to develop a modularization concept that fits into the needs of different customers. The vehicle you see here in the front is not the one which came up at the end for the DHL process, but the modular product architecture was organized in that way that they were pretty soon able to derive another derivative which is made in order to provide it to for the postal delivery service. And the major difference and the critical capability we were able to provide was the fact that we were able to fulfill and provide traceability from the market requirements to technical requirement within the product or within the special derivative of the car. So that we were able at the end to filter by pushing a button from vehicle A to vehicle B. And at the end, the structure itself was able to carry all these different informations within the product structure so that we were able to do cost and weight analysis, compliance analysis. If we have to ship the product to China, for example, it will have complete different regulation. And this is something you have to be aware of if you want to provide a product to specific needs. The next step was that we figured out how to make the car smart connected. And there's always a question, everybody knows everything is connected, but it's important to think about what is connected and for what purposes do you need connectivity. And that way we had started to ramp up the vehicle with a kind of connectivity set, which were around 30 sensors, where we were able to achieve real-time connection and provide the product development system with the right information in the right way. Together with Exceed, we have developed that necessary secure car-to-cloud box. But the most important topic for us is that we are not doing this only to monitor a car anymore. We have enhanced this process over the last year to more or less a kind of digital twin story. So as I mentioned earlier, we are describing the system, the electronic system, the software system, the mechanical system. We develop this, and now we have the ability to integrate sensor technologies on the right pieces where it fits our development process. Every simulation, every calculation you do during the development process is based on assumptions. Now we have the ability to substitute those assumptions with real data from the field. If we have a fleet and the car is in the Alps, it requires a complete different behavior than a car which is doing the postal delivery service here in Düsseldorf. And now we are able to use all this information in order to individualize each particular vehicle based on driving behavior, which is also talking with a particular system. So, but it's much more. It's, as I mentioned, it's connected requirements, but it's about connected service. One important topic is that we are able, if you want to individualize each vehicle in the right way, we have to be able to do a remote software update. And this is something we can do in the right configuration for the right vehicle. We can gain all the right information. We can directly connect it to service because we have much more than only ThingWorx as a kind of platform, and the additional information could be used for analytics in order to do a kind of predictive maintenance, but also to analyze system and user behavior. And we are also connecting all this information directly to our service knowledge database that we automatically create tickets in the knowledge system to make it a kind of learning system. So, just to skip, because these were the most important part of my new slides. But let me talk a little bit about how we have developed our solution suite over the last 2 years. Sorry. The most important part was to connect our enterprise solutions, where we had enterprise solutions to develop, to manage complexity, to manage software, to manage engineering and change process and so on, to connect it with the platform world. Because, as I mentioned, it's not about a particular platform. An app, something you can develop on your own, manually, but our idea was to lift the idea of a platform approach to a context-driven approach, so that we have integrated into our platform approach a complete analytics engine that is able to do predictive maintenance and can analyze those informations in the way. But we are using our platform not anymore only to create particular applications. We are lifting it to another level, that it has automatically the ability to connect to other systems. That in order to empower people developing or utilizing a platform to connect everything. That's our general idea. Therefore, we are going to provide an update on our technology suite, which is now called ThingWorx, on the platform side to develop apps. We have ThingWorx Converged. This is the enhanced version of ThingWorx, which can develop any system in the right way. And we have 2 new solutions coming up, which is called augmented reality. And I think everybody knows augmented reality is nice, but it's only valuable if it brings things in a context, and that's our idea. In the same way, we will launch in January a new solution suite, which is called Digital Twin. Unfortunately, I did not have the slides I have prepared.
We got the complaint.
But that doesn't matter, because these slides were a sneak peek of what we are going with the German government right now. Therefore, it's still the new slides you could have seen today will be released in January. When we work with the government, we have seen that we will provide online lessons from university perspective for Industry 4.0. But I also would like to take the opportunity to invite you for our upcoming event on 29th of September, where we have our event called Digitale Transformation im Dialog, over 2 days, where we work together with some key thought leaders in the industry. They will present us our lessons learned, and we will go through a couple of impulse workshops in order to come into a deep dialogue. And we have developed the European 4.0 Transformation Center in Aachen, where we make a tour in order to make IoT and connectivity greifbar.
Tangible.
Touchable?
Tangible.
Tangible. That's it. Thank you very much.